Hello and welcome to episode 38 of Let's Talk Tactics. I'm your host, Zach Bro.
Hey, I'm Daniel Boone.
And I'm Locke.
This week, we're going to talk about some more units, like Moore and Corwell, as well as the release of the Spine. Yeah, I'm making that pun all night before the podcast. But then also the Spine Blade, if we, how many we think we need versus, how many we don't need. I know I've seen a lot of heated debates back and forth in various servers. So I'll be curious to hear your guys' thoughts on that. But then we'll talk a little bit about kind of what we've been up to, just like farming and stuff. It's been kind of I want to say a down period, but like slower compared to other times, I think. So I've been able to at least catch up on things like some story that I haven't finished up, or some like events and missions, making sure I do all the vision card quests to get all like the 50 viz each time, so I can start skipping the right ones that I need to actually farm. So should catch up on stuff like that. Yeah, spending all my medals. Oh, buying too many UR Zazan medals, by the way. I dragged the slider all the way up on the last one. I didn't look. So I got like 50 or 60 extra ones just chilling. So
chilling for X2.
I was like, clearly they're not going to let me get more than I need. Because it went from 50, 50, 50, 150. I'm like, why did it go to 150? So I collected all of them, and it was disappointing to say the least. I'm looking at like, oh man.
Dude, I broke 1K Kill Fae Mind Spheres this week.
That's crazy.
Everybody has one of those.
Oh yeah, for sure. I actually don't know who mine is anymore, because I know, I guess if you count ones we've spent, maybe Mashari's up there, but in terms of EX jobs that don't exist yet, I wonder if I have any even close to that. I think I actually done pretty well on like Ruin Stern even. Because I was doing his like one a day for a while, but I've also gotten like dumb dupes of the of Gilgamesh and Ruin Stern specifically, not the other ones. I still don't have Black Rose Helena. But
really,
yeah, I'm definitely not trying. I did the 5 UR or whatever poll, like just to see if I could get her. So I did like reset on that. Got Gilgamesh in the last slot. I'm like, wrong premium unit. But
did you do the 9 step for her though to get the shards or no?
For Helena?
Yeah.
So I did her 9 step, and I think I did 1 pull on her banner, because that's usually what I'll do. If I don't want to go too far, I just want to see like, can I first shot her, even though it's the 10th shot. And that did not happen. I just couldn't, go any deeper at the time. But speaking of going deep on 9 steps and stuff, though, more. I did pull for her. I've done the first 8 steps and haven't gotten her yet. I'm trying to farm, like I said, all those side missions that give like 50 viz here and there that I've just been forgetting about, I guess. Doing story. So I have 1 last step on her step up, and then I don't know how deep I want to go, if at all, on her banner. So I'm hoping this last pull is all I need. But I did do the water step up too, though, and I got Glaciella. So I went for the 50-50. So it wasn't a 1/3 either. It was 50% more and then 25-25. And I'm like, I'll take those chances, and I missed. So that sucked. But I mean, again, I knew what I was getting into. 50-50. We're all about those coin flips here in the PvP community. So, Locke, how about you? Did you go for it?
No, I didn't go for it at all. I didn't pull on the step ups or anything. I actually think she's a very, very good unit. But I don't know if you want to cover the unit right now or just like the pulls. It's up to you.
Daniel, we'll just go. Did you pull for her?
Sure.
How was your experience?
Yeah. I pulled for her. I whiffed on the 9 step. I also whiffed on the paid step up. Also got Glaciella. As like other streamers also ended up getting Glaciella on the paid step. It's like, Glaciella, get out of there,
bro. It's the streamer seed.
Yeah, right. It's streamer luck.
Seed, yeah, we got this.
Speaking of streaming, even though I haven't streamed in a while, I just don't have much time for that anymore. I did happen to do the 1 pull on her banner, like you were mentioning, and I picked her up. So that was pretty cool.
That's how I got Zazan. Was the 9 steps? I know you said you haven't had a chance to listen last week. I did the 9 steps on him. I did 1 pull on his. Got him. I was like, sweet.
Nice. Got him.
Yeah.
So got her. Obviously, we all have Corwell, I'm sure, at this point.
Got him this morning.
Yeah, I got him this morning. I actually just ended up getting UR Zazan to MLB today because of the logins plus like the paid 5 shards or whatever, and everything else we've got. So pretty excited to get him to 120. It's kind of slowly. We'll see what happens. But yeah, more.
Yeah, Locke, you want to talk all about it?
Sure. I thought she was actually like a very, very good unit. She has like three things in particular, actually probably a bit more, but these are like generic to what I'm going to talk about. So she has jamming thrust, which I think is very good, like range 5 and height range 2, very important, especially for live PvP stuff, because a lot of maps have height range of 2 or more. And then she also has nimble movement. Again, +1 move and +1 jump is very, very important for live PvP, simply because a lot of maps have like insane range. So I think she's going to be a very good unit for live PvP. And the third thing she has was the unevadable pain, which is like a nice like an extra bonus that you have for dealing with like super high evasive comps. So you don't really need to bring like accuracy gear. You can just have that as like something on the side just to deal with evasion. So I think those three things are very good. But the thing is, like, I already invested in Silma, who has all those three things, and she has the same two jobs, although it's reversed. She has Red Mage and Kotodama, but she has Red Mage main. Whereas with Moore, she is a Kotodama main and Red Mage sub. And so I was like, I mean, okay, she's really good, but I don't want to like. I mean, if I have a limited budget, and I do, so I mean, what can I don't want to double up on the same thing basically, right? So of course, like Element is different, and she has like so many strengths that are different as well, but I don't think that difference is worth it enough for me. But I mean, because like you guys pulled for her, so I'm assuming you guys really like those strengths, so I will let you guys talk about that, including like her limit burst and stuff. But this was the reason why I didn't go for her, although I think she's very strong. Silma was very strong and she's better, so by default I think she's going to be great, just not enough great for me to go to spend when I already have Silma at 120.
Well, I mean, talking about the being good in live PvP, she has 90 cost too, which is a real difference as well. So
she's 90 cost. Okay.
Yeah, she's in 90. So that's another sort of negative for her in terms of her usefulness, especially when Silma's like 60 or whatever she is.
Yeah.
I guess the only difference, well, actually, sorry, another similarity is they're both extremely resistant to magic. Like they both can shut down opposing mages, whether it be through Stacking Spirit, magic resist, or various like barriers and stuff. So that's definitely another interesting overlap that I kind of forgot about Soma when I was evaluating more. So I feel actually a little foolish now. I might just put Soma on my guild battle team instead. But I do like the limit burst having the water imperil. I think we have somebody else who can water imperil, but not in that large of an AoE. So I kind of like having that. And then also her magic wall is just really cool. Like being able to do shell, regen, and the magic all in one ability is just really silly. But what other aspects were you kind of looking at, Daniel?
I really like her job 25 skill. It's called Light of Spell Sealing. It kind of sold me just on the name, but I know that's more of like a emotional thing rather than like a valid like strategy kind of
Well,
thing.
hello there. No,
Well, hello. But it's not just that, but it's got it's almost the range of like Yuna's like LB. It's like it's in a line, straightforward, or whatever to the side, depending on how you're facing. But it's got like one less range, but it's got that box area that Yuna's LB has. And it's got a magic break. That's cool. Breaks are nice as long as you have something to go along with it. Like the breaks aren't really that useful in the game right now. That unlike other games where like reducing the stats are something you need in order to win the battle or whatever. But the fact that it's got a 25% chance to inflict silence for 3 turns in that AoE like box range or whatever, I think that's really cool. I think it'll end up being like a coin flip on these max faith units like caster versus caster or whatever.
Which I mean, silence as an effect is good.
Yeah.
For that reason, like if you're using it, those who it's best against, or who are most likely to get hit by it, are those who it's best against. So it's like it's a good status effect for that reason. Whereas like something like disable, you want kind of on everybody, like you want to hit anybody with disable. But there's units that don't have 97 faith. So
I think one of actually a couple of the biggest differences between her and Silma. One, she has way more AoE in my opinion than Silma does. She's definitely like an upgraded Mediana in my opinion. She has the LB like in peril and the burst AoE. She has a like bursting light, that cone kind of like shotgun blast as like a main job ability. She has all these AoE options, and I think Silma is kind of more of like a single target, almost kind of a focused unit. And obviously
just
the
like
stat
Thundara. That's
Yeah,
about
well,
it. Yeah.
the set difference between UR and MR obviously is a factor too, but, like, the other biggest difference between them, I think, is their sub jobs. So, like, Soma has Green Mage, Moore has, Cleric, and I really like Auto Cure. Like, that's one of the best abilities, in my opinion, of the Cleric job. The fact that she gets that, it's really hard for me to be like, to pick Magic Reflex or Steeled Ephemeral Form instead of auto cure. I mean, we've seen how broken Aeon Bond is on Yuna, so to me, that's really compelling. Um, it's nice to have Light Veil and Dark Veil. I mean, I think that's what like every cleric job or sub job gets,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of like, Green Mage. You get the Bar Thundara or whatever, Bar Thunder, and you get the light and dark. Um, Bar for like
For cleric, yeah.
it's light veil, dark veil, whatever, but it's the same thing. Less of an AoE, less of a like a radius, less of a range, but it's still useful, so I don't really think that banish is really that useful as a cleric. You're not gonna have, I don't think you're really gonna run her on cleric sub, but you have the opportunity to, and I think that kind of leads into part of her strength.
I mean, Light Veil and Dark Veil is good against, when people have Yuna or they want
Yeah, it's
Black
weird.
Helena or something. Like doing both of them
We're
also
seeing
would be not. Then again, you get like Sakura who just buffs all three. But
I mean, we're seeing a lot of light and dark.
true. I do find it funny though. You said the best part of the cleric sub was not even equipping it, but just having the
Yeah,
the
just having it
reaction
available.
for it.
I mean, like, you make the best of having been assigned one of the worst jobs we have.
I mean, another like benefit to cleric though is the passive of the 15 spirit. Like, if you're trying to stack her up as the spirit method of, so, I mean, the 50% barrier is the biggest one, right? We've talked about this before, where there's a lot of spirit pen and magic resist pen, and depending on the matchups, you may or may not see a lot of it. But those barriers, unless they have a barrier break, which I don't know of too many magics that do that yet. Like, does Black Rose Helena have a barrier break?
She does.
So she has one, but other than exactly her with that skill against every other magic damage dealer, which you can argue the viability of, not, if you lose to Black Rose Helena, you're losing to magic comps sort of argument. But being able to stack spirit extra high because of that passive is pretty nice. And then her upgrade on the fire spirit's blessing too, so it goes from 12 spirit to 18 spirit. And then she gets like 12% HP on top of the fire resist as well. That's a pretty insane passive upgrade. So I do like the ability to stack that really high, which, by the way, that is what, 30, 33? Her passive gives magic resistance, sure. And then she has, what, 4 spirit there. So she's got like almost 40 spirit, just like base. That's before even looking at putting on any sort of gear. I mean, you might as well just put some like defense on or something. And she also has 50% disable resist, which we always are saying is, a relevant thing to pay attention to.
That's another big thing. She doesn't get the charm resist that Selma has, but she has an innate, like, she basically is immune to silence and disable. So, it's kind of, I think, doesn't Selma have like, yeah, so she's got that 50% confusion resistance. That's really nice. Moore only has 10, but I mean, at that point, we're kind of splitting. I mean, not splitting hairs. Obviously, you're not going to see Selma confused, and Moore might be confused by like Agrius's LB or something. But it's always like when you're deciding whether or not, like, what a unit's strengths or weaknesses are and whether you want to pull them, like, you always look at the status resist as well, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a relevant one. What does she have for like generic resist? So she has -5 to pierce, neutral / strike, 5 resist to missile, but let's be honest, as a water
Yeah.
unit, like, enjoy your missile matchups. And then
Yeah.
10 magic resist, which I think that 10 could have been higher, like 20, especially because she's not, higher anywhere else on the board. Then again, being neutral or only -5 to all the physical damage, well, traditionally physical damage types, I guess, is a benefit in and of itself. But yeah, trying to think of like other major. Yeah, was it?
I think we don't have to wait for Aerith. I think she pairs really well with Tidus already. Like, even with Eldira, like, if Ildira on Spellblade, I know they're two Mace users, Moore and Ildira, but even like, we're looking forward to Winter Victoria, like, getting her X, whenever that arrives. But I think she's a strong addition to a water party, and we've seen them like be really strong in the past. So who knows how long like King Mott is going to be in people's how long he's going to be in the current meta. But yeah, I think more like didn't we see in the PvP server? We've already seen accounts of more like one-shotting King Mons with her LB.
I haven't seen the pictures, but I
Yeah.
mean, I believe it.
Yeah, like, and not just King Mons, but I think it was like Raldor as well or something. It was like their opponent had the unfortunate circumstance of being matched up against this Moor team, and yeah, they managed to get a screenshot of it, and yeah, it was showing like almost damage cap. No, I think that's not true because Moor would have been like 120 or whatever, and you get like plus 2,000 plus if you're using your vision card.
Oh, so it wasn't like
But
1,100 or
no, it was
11,000
like
almost.
it was
like
almost
8,000.
10. It was almost 10,000. It was like
Sure.
999. But yeah, that was really impressive. And obviously King Mont is better against physical units rather than magic. So yeah, definitely TLDR a strong inclusion to any mage party, water party as a mage.
Yeah, the prong staff, chaining with Glaciella submonk too. All these killer synergies.
Yeah. I don't know if that really reflects on the whole Moor versus Silma, kind of debate. But in terms of elements, I think water is kind of in a better place than lightning right now. That's maybe that won't be true once Cloud comes out. But I mean, lightning did get curl recently, but in my opinion, it just seems like water is stronger.
Good luck.
No. What was I saying? I kind of zoned out.
You're like, I'm gonna wait up for her. I have Selma, and I prefer her.
Yes. No. Oh no, I remember what I was gonna say. She doesn't have any kind of magic penetration, does she? Does she?
Her master ability has magic resistance penetration 15.
15.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, because I mean, yep.
Kodadama also has more of her passives, right? Nope, never mind. It's a magic percent. So
okay,
yeah, I guess that's it.
And because she's a mace user, she can't really use the magic pen staff, so she's kind of stuck at 15 unless she's using like Garvel's TMR or something for an additional 50, right?
Heart-like needles as well helps.
Sorry,
Heart-like needles buff from Kodadama.
Oh, what does that give?
20 spirit pen.
Oh, spirit. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah. Because I mean, so I use Black Rose Helena. When I did the review on Black Rose Helena, I was like, yeah, she is great for a damage dealer because not only does she do a ton of damage, if you are building against it, she has multiple ways to do damage. Like she can break barriers, she can break magic barriers, she has magic resist penetration and spirit penetration. So that's why she was really good. So I wanted to see how Moor stacks up against it. Like obviously, King Mont is a physical like a physical tank, right? But if you build King Mont or like any other magic tank with a ton of magic resist, I was like, well, I wonder how well she would fare. So that's why those questions.
One other notable thing that I wanted to mention about her is her TMR. I think this is the first TMR that we've seen that increases faith permanently from 2 to 6. So that's really helpful. Like trying to build faith maybe on multiple units, even on one unit, like not having to include Fina in the party anymore as long as we have more like her TMR. That's kind of useful.
I think you have to, I mean, yeah, if you want to max it, right?
Yeah. And the fact that it's an AoE buff, I think that encourages the AI to use it,
Yeah, because it increases spirit for allies, but the faith is for self, yeah. So it doesn't matter who you hit with the AoE.
Oh, faith for self, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, damn, I have to make sure that everybody, I don't want the whole team.
Yeah. No, and then Nullify, Sleep, Slow, and Berserk for allies as well.
I guess
it's better on AI too, because you don't have to worry about Fina going rogue and just like randomly cheering this person because my unit's got like an affinity level I wasn't expecting, and now they're removed out of the way or something. Then you come back and you're like King Mont's 97 faith, or your Engelbert's 97 faith or something. But
it looks like looking on What of Dash Calc, it looks like every job can use it, so that's helpful.
To be honest, I mean, when I listen to this, I'm actually like really disappointed that she's 90 cost, because I don't know, like to me that sounds like a huge deal, especially with these like 220 cost CMs.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, why?
That sucks. Yeah.
Because intricate, or what's it called? Not intricate. That's the wrong word. Hours of development and testing time have gone into making sure that the game is balanced and around cost. And she took 10
Yes.
points from Sakura and from Halloween Leela because she's just that much better.
So, Prodigy, what do you think? What job would you use on her? Did you just stick around Red Mage?
For a sub job?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, yeah. And what other? I'm gonna change her main job to Red now. Probably Red Mage most of the time.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to be like real cheeky to go Kodadama for like the teleport or something, but
Yeah.
I don't really see.
Gap closer. She's got all the AOE she needs.
Right, I'd probably go in Red Mage. I think for very either specific content or very specific like guild battle teams, I probably would consider Cleric, but it would have to be something really specific and not just like queuing into a CM or something. Like CM, I'm just probably bringing the Red Mage, especially if like Yuna and Black Rosella continue to be big. It's like you better watch that clock, that CT timer, because otherwise I'm just gonna jamming thrust all day because you get 6 casts and it's always been stupid.
Well, there's 3 reasons in my opinion, and that's jamming thrust obviously, but also Kira and Esuna.
True, Esuna is huge. Very valuable.
Yeah. Esuna like even more huge now than like ever before. All these status ailments out there, and
But,
just being a mage that can cast a heal spell on top of whatever, like healing mace or whatever, which I would probably use on her. That was another thing I was going to ask, but like it's pretty. It doesn't really matter whether you're using healing mace or platinum mace. It's, I guess your mileage may vary. If you prefer the Curata from the healing mace, if you wanted to heal more, maybe then do that much more damage. But a mage being able to cast heal spells, in my opinion, is pretty awesome.
Oh, for sure. Any other thoughts on more, or do you want to move on to Corwell?
I would love to.
All right.
I've been looking forward to talking. Okay.
Go ahead, talk all about him, because I have only used him so far as to get his mastery ability and all of his like free shards, and I've not really done much else. So
nice. Yeah, I'm kind of speaking of that. I haven't maxed him. I haven't got him to 120 or even max LB. I think he's still waiting at like 79 or something. But I'm looking forward to building him, and I'm hoping like he appears on the. You guys remember the anniversary select shard tickets? I'm hoping that he is going to be on there as basically like a normal unit. He's not limited. He's not collab. Kind of like how Luel is on there, and I'm still waiting for Sweetheart Solier to be updated because the tickets haven't been updated past middle of May. But in my opinion, like from what I've seen, they're updating the normal release units to be part of these anniversary tickets if you haven't used them yet.
are they?
So I'm expecting.
What tickets are these?
Those 100
the anniversary ones where you. Yeah, well, so the 100 shard select tickets, you got like 6 of them to be able to max the unit, and you get to like the select UR. If anyone that still has those, were like you didn't need to use them, so like personally for like I didn't need to use them, so I've been saving them for these units down the line, and fortunately they've been updating it so like you can use it for any unit released before this whatever certain date, and they've been obviously the most recent date is like the 19th or something of May, which is obviously 2 months after the anniversary tickets were released. So yeah, so really looking forward to actually having a unit that I really want to spend these shard tickets on. So hopefully Corwell appears there soon. We'll see what happens. I don't really know how that decision-making process goes, or if this is just kind of an oversight. But I really, obviously, repeating myself, I really want to use the shard tickets on Corwell. I think he's an awesome unit. He's probably going to be my favorite ranged unit to date, and that's including his lack of an LB. The fact that we got him for free, he's already my favorite like free like unit, and that's including like what we got 9S and like Titas and stuff. This guy is an awesome quote unquote archer in my opinion. You guys can obviously check Wodav-Calc. His jobs are sniper, gunner, nightblade. He's got the whole sniper gunner like aspect to it, like the Frederica has always had.
Not sniper, but the double
yeah,
range passive.
Right. Yeah, double range passive. So he's got concentrate. He's got the long range from sniper instead of like what is it, ranger lore from ranger. But he's got aimed fire from gunner, so he can basically act like Frederica. And I'm drawing a lot of comparisons between them because there are like multiple similarities between them. For instance, like their base agilities, like Coral actually has one higher base agility than Frederica does. However, Frederica has the ninja sub job. She gets like the Shadow Runner. So she still beats him on agility. Like once everything is said and done, she has like, I don't know, 7 more agility than him. But the base agility, like he's still high up there in terms of base agility, which is important for agility buffs and stuff like that. Frederica, like I whenever I see somebody using Frederica and using her LB, I'm like yelling at the screen like, why are you using her LB? It's such a waste of AP. It's terrible. I never used Frederica's LB, and to me, not using it it's kind of like not having it, and like Coral not having one, it's like it's whatever. I want to use all these other abilities anyways. Um, he's got awesome buffs, not only from like the gunner job, but also Nightblade. He's got double resist if you're planning on fighting against like an opposing missile team. Or Pierce or whatever. We haven't seen much Pierce lately, but it's still something to consider. There's just a lot about him to like, in my opinion. I'm probably going to end up using the Tetra Esper on him. So, I have her at 99. So he's going to have that extra like disable resist. He's going to innate like stop resist and paralyze resist. Paralyze is like, but the stop resist is awesome for units like Katone, who is an earth unit. So you don't have to worry about her LB when you're going up against her and, maybe you'll one shot her. He's got amazing accuracy. I don't know. I'm sounding biased right now, but there's just so many cool things about him. So many things.
Well, I never looked at his stuff yet. I just
Yeah.
saw his job 25 skill is
Yeah.
a 200 mod sharpshoot.
Yeah, it's basically it's a little bit more powerful than a
What?
sharpshoot.
A little. I mean, isn't sharpshoot like 121?
No, it's like 170, I
165.
think.
Oh, it is high.
one-
Oh, okay, so it's a
165.
little higher than that. But
Yeah, it's a little higher. But yeah, it's a sharpshoot. It's a little bit more expensive in terms of AP. It has less casts, but
19 versus 28. Yeah,
you don't
it's a
have to
little
worry about being Ranger sub. You always have it. It's job 25. So that's cool. I wasn't ready to go to skills yet, but yeah. So I covered the stop resists. I think that's all. He's got the missile resist of like a Viking. He has like natural, I think it's like 15%, on top of being able to buff it with like his Nightblade sub, like the double resist, like I mentioned. Plus, whatever, uh, like if you want to use like Odin or something on him, or if you want to use the like a missile resist VC, like Mask of Deceit or something, like you can really like tune him to be like a missile focused, like you're hunting down missile teams as a missile user. It's finally a unit that you can use like that, where you're not going to get like two shot by the opposing teams like Frederica or something. Let's go back to skills, unless there's some that kind of catch your eye, Prodigy.
Not outside of skills, so I'll let you run down those.
Yeah, so I really like how his Dispel spread gets upgraded to Dispel Barrage.
I think it's called Barrage.
I know. When I saw that for the first time, I was like, is this AoE going to be increased from like the spell spread cross AoE to like the Barrage burst? But it is not. So the spell Barrage is kind of like a misnomer. Like it's not a barrage, but it's a Dispel Barrage. So anyways, it's still the same AoE. It's a cross AoE. But it has an increased chance to hit. It's got plus 30% accuracy, so that's pretty cool. It still works like the spell spread, where like you have to hit in order to dispel. But hey, it's got higher accuracy, so maybe it'll hit. I think using Tetra Esper and Tetra VC on him, I have him at like plus 59 accuracy, which is just like straight
his focus
accuracy.
Targeting buff gives 30 accuracy flat.
Yeah, the upgrade from just like the normal
AoE
sniper.
Now?
Like,
oh wow.
What's an AoE?
Yeah. So target is a
target.
sniper ability.
Yep.
Yeah, it increases your range by 1, increases defense pen from 10 to 40, right? But now it increases accuracy and across AoE focused on the caster. So I mean, you still only increase the range of yourself and the defense pen of yourself, but increases your accuracy of yourself and the allies from like 10 to 30.
Could you imagine
so
if that buff was AoE, like all of it? Ooh, ooh, that'd be nuts.
Insane.
So he's got all these cool, like he has all of the sniper goodies. He's got like barrier break arrow. He's got slow shot and slow arrow. He's got the true striking arrow, which is his job 25 skill we've already talked about. It's basically like a sharpshoot. So like anything you're looking for in a sniper, like he's basically got it. And he's a wind unit, which I don't want to get too far away from like his other skills. Like if you have him on sniper, like sub job, that's where his arm shot is. I think that's the only real like it's not a benefit like because obviously like if you're that's like the one skill I think that like every sniper would want to have. It's arm shot is obviously it's like the gunner arm shot, but it's like you're a bow user, so you don't have to worry about like the range. You just shoot over people or whatever, unlike
Yeah.
the gunner arm shot. But who cares about target share or paralyzing trap? It's really about the arm shot. If you have him on gunner sub, he's got the aimed fire. Sidewinder is always good because it's got the increased range from other gunner skills. He's
Dude, I
got the
want to
double
see someone
threat.
get sidewandered in PvP with him, just like through it. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it's everything. And basically all three of his sub jobs are awesome. Like Nightblade, like I've been talking about. He gets the double resist. He gets stun blade. He gets AP drain and drain rush. Spinning slash is like but like he can serve as a wind slash unit if you want to use like I don't know a Guyon or what was I think it was a Guyon, right? I don't know if he's
Or
going to get the vision card buff. Like
no,
how
that's the
it's like
lightning card.
lightning. Well, it's lightning and wind, and so like Sid got it and Howlet
Oh,
appeared
on
on
the
there too.
bestowed.
Yeah. So I wonder. I
I
haven't
think it's
checked that.
sword wielders.
Yeah,
I'll look that up while you're continuing.
gotcha. But I mean, like in terms of getting the skills of the sub jobs that he has, like he has a lot of the best skills. So that was another thing. When I was looking, like doing research on him, I was like, holy crap, this is a lot better than I was expecting from a free unit. So I'm as much as I am not looking forward to like spending viz on his shards, like I'm probably not going to do that. If I have to build them slowly, I will. Like in the meantime, but I'm really looking forward to being able to cash in on the shards from like those tickets I still have. But I think he's a worthwhile investment if you're considering it, especially because like he kind of fits in the like as the third unit of that win team everybody's talking about, like 2B, Tifa, and like Little Leela, Howlet, like Corwell as the third person on that team just really fits. Especially he's a sniper main job, so he can use Nivlu's TMR that buffs evasion for the entire party. Well, I mean in the AOE or whatever. Um, so I really think that like not having to rely on 2B's like samurai sub and like illusion for the illusion buff of the party, like being able to use her on I don't know pugilist or something. I think that's going to be really helpful, and like teaming up with Tifa, for instance, and then having Corwell buff the evasion of the party. I really like the thought of those three together in a party, and that's. I mean, I don't want to give it away too much, but I'm definitely looking forward to grabbing Tifa, obviously.
Igayan is sword wielders only to get the
Gotcha.
slash bonus.
Okay.
It is wind, but it's wind and
And
you have
sword.
to be
Okay,
able
gotcha.
to sword. But it actually, I don't know if it's all sword wielders because it only shows warrior, knight, paladin, spellblade, red mage, rune blade, or rune knight. Sorry, and then sword saint. So like, it's not
Seems like it.
showing. I guess the other ones aren't relevant because like it doesn't show Knight of Remorse or whatever for Dwayne, but he's dark, so you want to get it anyway.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
it's not
they
all sword jobs. It's like all sword
yeah.
jobs that actually exist that are wind or lightning.
Yeah, maybe they looked
So,
at like the lightning and wind jobs that were
yeah,
sword jobs or
right.
something. I think kind of in closing, I think the last thing I have to say about Corwell in terms of like his skills are his counters. I think he has terrible counters. It's counter smoke, counter shot, or counter swing. And like of those, like the only one that's like preemptive is the counter smoke. So like it kind of helps in like an evasion team. If you're, I haven't really looked at how evasive he is, because obviously as a range unit, you don't really want him being attacked. But if he has to,
Plus, if he
like,
has concentration, he's like what -4
yeah,
or something.
-5.
it's -5. Yeah,
Is it only -5?
Yeah.
hell
I
yeah.
thought it was way more significant than that. What?
Right?
Um,
It seems like it, but no, it's just -5.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's -5. All right.
so I was focusing more on his accuracy. He's got like plus 20 dex from like his board, 20% dex. So I was like, oh, that put me on the accuracy like track without looking really on the evasion. Besides being like, oh, he's a sniper, you can use Niblu's TMR. I'm not sure how evasive he's going to end up being, but I did take a look at his luck and dex, and I think both of them ended up being like over 300. So
He
it's
is
still
number 2 for dexterity.
nice.
He's 350 dex, only behind Frederica at 357.
He's actually,
And then luck wise, he's definitely more down. Moore's actually 15th
yeah.
in luck. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's weird.
Cornwell's 25th. He's got 229 luck. So
Oh, really?
first place would be Shadowlings with 293, tied with Zazan. So
Okay.
like 293 versus 230. It's a 63 point deficit is pretty big, but
Yeah.
I mean, like you're saying, it's probably not going to be evasive, like primarily.
Yeah,
just more
hopefully.
supporting the other evasive units.
But counter smoke, reducing accuracy by 43 for 3 turns,
Good way
happening
to turn you into an evade unit.
maybe. It's a higher chance than what we normally see. It's one of those 30% ones like AM Bond. So anyone who's used a sniper for long enough, it actually, like, as long as it's in range or whatever, like, you're not going to be counter smoking like opposing ranged units or whatever. But I really like the thought of him being like a missile user hunter, as a missile user. So, but yeah, his counters. I mean, I just put him on counter smoke. I don't really want to shoot my friends in the back with counter shot, and I don't really want to use counter swing because that's a melee range. And like, what are you doing? But yeah, that's probably. That's the one thing that I'm kind of just like deplore about this unit.
Man, you said Aeon Bond again, and I was like, 30%? No way. Yeah, it is. It is 30%. Why
Doesn't
is it,
right?
Dude? It hits like at least 60%
Yeah.
of the time. Like, there's no. Oh my goodness. What? I just looked. I'm like, no, it's at least 50%. Nope. Like, I thought it was 50%, but like it feels like it's 60 or 70%.
No,
but it's
I've had
actually
it.
30. What
Yeah,
the
no,
hell?
I was fighting some Yunas in like arena like this over like a few times over the past couple days, and both there was 2 times like almost back to back where she AM bonded like 4 times in a row, and I was like, I hate this game. So basically, uh, in terms of like being evasive, the counter smoke ability I think is the best of his counter abilities, and because it has like a range of 3 and a range height of 1, in terms of being evasive, I think it'll be helpful when these like, I don't know, melee attackers whatever try to get that close. So
I mean, I've
the best
seen
of that situation.
Nivlu enough times with like concentration on even. Apparently it's only -5. I was just thinking. I must be thinking of the other buff. What's the one that gives you like elemental resist or evade goes down, or the opposite or something? Is there some kind of buff that evade downs?
I think it's like the ranger vigilance.
Oh,
Maybe.
yeah,
Or is that
vigilance.
evasion up and elemental down? Is that?
No, it's evasion
That's
down.
element. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what I'm thinking of, but whatever.
Probably that.
There've been enough times where I've seen Nivlu counter smoke somebody and I actually dodge. So like that 43, I mean, it's a pretty significant decrease.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a flat decrease. I mean, it could help out on top of, like you said, the Nivlu TMR. Which, by the way, real quick, later I was gonna just mention a couple things that someone had mentioned we missed last podcast, but I'll just say the main one now, which is we were talking about evasion teams for UR Zazan and like how we could work with that. We're like, man, if only someone could carry Nivlu TMR. And we talked about Mustadio, but we didn't mention Mustadio could hold Nivlu TMR for that team. Like,
we somehow missed that.
Yeah, like I think we ended up saying something like, oh, we could do this and this. Like, oh, Mustadio would be cool, make some chains or whatever like back, and good for cost. And we never connected those 2 dots.
Oh man.
So
I wish I was there.
Yeah, right. And that's what Mako was like. Why wasn't I on this podcast?
Well, yeah,
because he's freaking out.
I was gonna shout out like Jay Benson, like one of the last times I streamed and had like an MR lower like team to fight against. He like I was just doing like random MR spell blades like Kadia and like Mariel and somebody else, and he ran this really effective Earth evade team. It was like MR Mont, Mustadio with Niblu's TMR and somebody else. I think it was Balo. But yeah, he stomped me. I was screwing around. I was like, let's do an MR lower, and I guess I'll have these random spell blades I never get the chance to play with. And yeah, his team was definitely better tuned than mine was.
So yeah, just Niblu TMR, great TMR, and updating ourselves from last week. But But yeah, so Locke, you said what were your opinions on Corbel?
So I mean, when UR Zazan came out, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be like the new kind of evasive, because like there are a lot of units with like guaranteed hit, but he's gonna survive them, right? And there's no unit with guaranteed hit that can remove re-rates or Immortal Spirit. So it's like you need to kill him 3 times anyway. So I was like, okay, so are there any units that does like just very highly accurate? And I came across Corral, and I was like, okay, he's gonna be really good against this. And I was really excited to to use him and everything. But he wasn't released yet. And I made a video actually talking about Corral before he was released, like 2 weeks before. And I was like, oh, like just in case you guys get pressured to get UR Zazan because he's so good, just remember that there's always going to be counters. And I think Corral is going to be his counter. And so I was really excited. But a lot of those videos, a lot of the comments actually focused on some of the negative aspects about Corral. So I think his main weakness.
It's the comment section, bro. What are you talking about?
but I think I mean, one of that's actually I think pretty valid. Like he has one of the lowest base attacks in the game. I think it's lower than Nivlu at 99. So that's pretty low. If you want to check the index, actually,
I will.
Yeah. But it was a pretty low base attack, and I think I compared it to Frederica, and it was very low. And Frederica, I mean, I used her a lot, and I know that Frederica's attack is low, but I think it makes sense her attack is low because she has high range, right? But his is even lower than that.
His is lower than Lucia's.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Lucia. She was on
level 99.
Yeah, level 99 Lucia.
Well, yeah, maybe.
So Lucia has 345. He has 343. He's 45th in very middle of the pack in attack. He's like just barely above Winter Victoria by 1. He's only above Nasha with her EX by 2.
Wow.
He's wait, are there magic units he's under? No, that can't be right.
Props to Nasha.
No, probably not. But as opposed to like Shadow Links up in like the 600s, it's like ridiculous.
Yeah, just crazy.
So
sorry, just real quick.
I mean, I think go on.
I was gonna say yeah, Frederica is 416, so it's like 20 something higher. And then are there any other? Where's Nivlu? You said that.
I thought Nivlu was higher than
above. Nivlu, I don't know.
Or maybe slightly below or something. It was very close to Nivlu.
It was 284. Oh, Nivlu.
She only 284.
Yeah, she's like 60 lower than Corwell. Oh god.
Oh, Nivlu.
Oh, girl.
Well done.
Nivlu, no.
Go do some pull-ups or something. Jeez. Oh man.
But she still hits really hard, so right. But anyway, so I think it's valid that his attack is low, but I think I was planning to do another video to talk about him, but I never got the chance. But I think, I mean, I think he has some things to counter that. So I think specifically his job level 25 skill, because it's 200 mod, which is like an LB basically, right? So that's if you're comparing it to Sharpshoot, that's 35 modifier more. So that's like basically a Frederica's Dream right there, right? That's the difference. So although his base attack is low, I think that skill itself kind of makes up for it. So I think he'll still be hitting hard. And other people were saying that, unless you are putting him on like a dedicated win team with like the Tetra Sulfide vision card, you might not be able to take out UR Zazan at one move. You might need to hit him like twice. Whereas UR Zazan, because his attack is so high, he might still be able to kill Corral. But the thing is, like, I feel like a lot of people that are doing this kind of analysis are thinking of UR Zazan in an Earth team with his card, right? So I think it's kind of like unfair to think of UR Zazan with his Earth card while Corral is not having his Wind card. Like, I mean, that's the fair comparison to make. Otherwise, it's apples and oranges, right? So I think in a correct like win team, I think he could probably take out Zazan. I don't know. I mean, mine is only at I think mine is at the same place. I think at like LB3, 284 shards or something like that, right? And I was actually like, I really liked the unit. And I really wanted to test stuff out with him. But I was like, I don't really want to spend Vizier getting his shards.
Right.
If we can get him to at least max LB, then I can probably, Mog Metal the rest of his Mind Spheres. But thank you, Daniel, for pointing out that hopefully we can get his shards from the selected cards, because there's a lot of 4 of them. So if I can get that, then I might actually rethink my plans for the next CM. Like I might use them because like I was really excited too, but then I was like, I just don't want to buy his shards. That was the thing holding me back.
It's valid.
Yeah. So
I think. Oh, sorry.
no, that's what I was gonna say. So if I can get the shards, with those tickets, he might be a strong contender for using in the next CM.
I forgot to mention his crit chance, which is crazy. He gets like 26 crit or something just from his board. But I mean, obviously with his high dex, he's going to be critting a lot. But honestly, ultimately, what I think it comes down to between him and Frederica is Frederica's missile penetration versus his defense penetration. Because if you have like the UR Zazan that's like built for missile resist. Like I think even with like all things considered, like Frederic on a lightning team, Corwell on like a wind team or whatever. I think what it's going to come down to is whether a unit is built for defense or for missile resist. And I think even with like his wins, like elemental advantage against Zazan, I think if he's built more for missile resistance, I think Frederica is going to do better against him, even with her elemental disadvantage of lightning, just because of the penetration.
Okay.
But honestly, I don't think we're going to see a lot of high missile resist Zazan. I think he's going to rely on his elemental advantage of Earth against lightning.
Yeah.
And I think I would expect. I was having this conversation in the PvP server recently. I would expect to have Zazan built more for magic resist than missile resist. So I don't think Corwell is going to struggle as much versus Frederica doing damage against somebody like Zazan as he could in extreme situations.
His crit rate is 31 at like the normal base. I don't know if that's coming from. Okay, 5 of that, never mind, is coming from guild statues. I was doing the builder. I'm like, wait a second, I think a guild statue
Yeah.
would have it, and it does. Damn.
Yeah.
But still really high, regardless. Because I think most people, if you're in a higher level guild, your statues are probably 6 by now.
Yeah.
Across the board, which gives you that 5 crit rate. So it's kind of like we assume you have 2 defense and 2 spirit in all of your units just because of the statues, right? So, yeah, definitely interesting crit rate thing there. Now I kind of want to put him with like Rob or something, or like another samurai, just like buff that up.
Oh jeez, and he has counsel from his gunner sub, so he can even buff crit rate even higher.
Oh, can he? Is that a skill there?
Yep.
Oh, about how much? What is it?
Enough to crit
42?
all the time.
Oh man, enough to crit all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. And I mean, it's nice that on 2B's vision card, the elemental advantage is crit damage up. So that can go with this.
Party bonus?
Yeah.
For maxing. Nice.
Yeah. So
yeah, for event.
Suffice to say, and I'm probably restating this, but I'm really looking forward to him being on a win team and just kicking ass.
No, I mean, I think it's all very valid. I hadn't given him, I hadn't paid him much mind, honestly, until we started talking about him now. So
yeah, not the fangirl or whatever.
Cool, and I mean, dude, I fangirl about Misha all the time, but yeah, he definitely has a lot of tools that I wasn't aware of. So that's interesting. And honestly, having the extra mod on the like sharpshoot, the true striking arrow, is giant, and like having to be able to do dispel spread, barrier break, decrease move, like all of these tools that all like the main job snipers have, and then to have a sharpshoot is without having to go into a sub ranger and using up those slots for other abilities is just really insane to me. So that I kind of wish I had the resources to put into him now, but I don't know if I do. We'll have to see what happens.
And the cool thing about him is like if he's on a missile team with like Frederica or Nivlu or whoever else they are, like one of them is going to use Frederica's Dream. But for him, you can just use the Tetrasylphid like VC and have the 35 wind attack up. And like you don't need Frederica's Dream on him with a wind team. You can just use that vision card, and give him even more accuracy. So I think that works out really well. Instead of a situation that we've seen, obviously, where you have one unit that's getting buffed with like, the only one that's getting buffed with like this attack type.
Yeah, him and Liard probably would go well together to take out these like evasion teams because they both have like insane accuracy, and you can use both those cards, right? And they're also cost conscious, so they would probably work really, really well together.
Cost conscious, yeah.
Liard's only 30 cost.
Yeah, going into, unless there are more thoughts about Corwell, the Spine Blade that released this week is our.
Actually, I think there's one more thing I want to talk about
sure, yeah.
With Corwell. Another disadvantage that a lot of people are talking about was when they were thinking of, like, say, put him and Frederica on the same team. Typically speaking, you want to put Kiza's bells on Frederica. So with him having all these awesome skills, the person that you can, the unit that you can kind of compare that to is Nivlu, right? Because Nivlu has basically all the same skills, and she wants to use all the skills. But if you don't have Kiza's TMR in her, it's really, really hard to actually get to use all the skills because you're lacking AP. And even in CM, it's not always possible to grab a crystal with a range unit. So I think that's fair. But I also think that with Nivlu, I mean, because I use her a lot, the reason that I pretty much always want to have Kiza's belts if I'm bringing Nivlu is because of her LB. Her LB is 58 AP. If I don't bring Kiza's belts, I either get one chance to use her limit burst, and she can't do anything else, or I just can't use her limit burst, right? And with Corel, well, he doesn't have a limit burst, so that's one problem that we get rid of, right? And I think the second thing is with Nivlu, I always want to make sure she has 40 AP to dispel spread, to remove, because I think, like, when I'm bringing Nivlu, I really want to remove these buffs because I want her to keep distance from other enemies, and if they use like Kitone's TMR or something like that, I want to reduce their range. So I always want to keep that 40 AP on her. With him, that cost has gone down to 32 because that's part of his buff. So I mean, he probably starts with, like, he has actually pretty high AP as well for some reason. So with all that in mind, I think within, like, 2 turns, I can probably get him to like 64 AP or something. I think, because he also has really high AP cost, TP cost skills. His aimed fire is 30 TP, and then if you go Nightblade sub, his missile and pierce resist sub is like 36 AP. Not sub. Skill is like 36 AP.
Yep.
So I think it's probably not too bad to get his AP up. I mean, you still have to kind of be careful and not just keep spamming skills if you don't have Kiza's bells on him. But I think I think it's not as bad as taking Nivlu into the field without Kiza's TMR. That's what I think.
There's 2 other things that crossed my mind as you were
Mhm.
talking. As a sniper, like main job, he gets jump too. So you don't have to worry about Frederica going for Shikuchi, for instance. Like Nivlu is also move 3, jump 2. And also, like, his TMR, it's kind of weirdly, like, to me, it's unexpected. It's a weapon TMR. It's called Hunting Bow, but it's got the attack of like an MR weapon that you would build. It doesn't have like the missile attack up passive or whatever, but it does actually, like, it's an interesting passive. It's a 20% base chance to decrease evasion rate by 40. For 3 turns. Like, it's gonna be a basic attack, so it's kind of like Layart's TMR, or not Layart's, Fina's, where, like, you go for the charm and you wreck the team because charm is crazy OP. But I like the theme of it. Like, he's this accurate, like, archer, and his bow helps him decrease evasion. Like, so, like, if you don't have much chance to hit something like a really high evasion unit, I don't know, like Venera or something with her X, you could at least try to auto attack and maybe reduce her evasion, or Shadow Links or somebody like that. Generally, you don't want to be wasting your turn on an auto attack, so it's not the greatest TMR to use on him. But I mean, it's an option, and then you're not going to lose out on attack at the same time. Plus, it's got a crazy 20 accuracy on it, so it increases his accuracy even more. I feel like because of how high his accuracy is, I think this is more of a party benefit, But
the only argument I would say against that is that the TMR is a 20% chance to go like evasion down by 40.
Yeah.
Or he can just buff your team's accuracy by 30 guaranteed.
Yeah.
So it's a little
yeah. I mean,
that part, but if you hit, it's
even
good.
more accuracy.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe a boss or something, like a really evasive boss.
I got you. And then you said you had another thought, or was that both of them?
That was the 2, like his TMR and his base jump.
Okay. So Spineblade is the defense penetration for the sword. So it's kind of like the platinum bow to killer bow sort of comparison. The Spineblade. So I guess, is this still Nagrok? Is Nagrok like the de facto slash attack weapon still? Is that like
well,
is that a thing?
Sort of, because of how easy it was. It was so cheap because of it being
right. It was N rarity, but like actually like N rarity drop rate or something, and like cost and all that, but it's an MR quality. Anyway, 20 defense for sword. It has the old classic magic version on this defense pen weapon that gives like 68 magic, which is less than the attack on the magic version. Like, come on. Just give like accuracy or something. I know it has like 14 across all the versions, but so clearly it's kind of like a weapon that should have some accuracy. Like they're kind of like, oh, this is one of those swords where you can get some. Give it a name version then instead of magic. Like, why are we doing? I wish it had like adaptive penetration based on what your higher stat was. Like, if you had more magic on your unit, it's magic or spirit pen. If you have more attack on your unit, it has defense pen or something. Like, if you want to make a hybrid thing like this, but it's just not. So, but I think the assault version is really good looking. I mean, it's 154 attack is pretty good on top of the 20 defense pen. So it's a nice option instead of having the slash attack weapons. But besides that mild rant, what do you guys think of the weapon? Danny, we can start with you.
It's interesting. It's so obviously the easiest comparison is to the plat bow, right? It's the other defense pen weapon. It's interesting that the sword doesn't get as high of an attack on the assault. The plat bow's assault type is 188 attack, which it makes it like the best attack type weapon for like a sniper or whatever, instead of like the killer bow or whatever it was. But the spine blade only has like 154. So it's interesting. It's like 30 more attack on this bow instead of on the sword, but I don't think sword users are really hurting for the extra 30 attack.
I was gonna say,
as
I
opposed
think the
to
sword
low
users
attack like
have,
snipers.
yeah, exactly. Like they're typically much higher than the missile users because of the whole range disparity. But
Not hurting at all.
actually, I guess sword users don't even have range disparity, right? Most of them have like a 5 range, whatever, pop you from here.
Tops. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
But other than that, it's I really wish that they put more thought into the automation, or like the ability to strategize different types for these items. Like Vital has 64 HP. Like, woo, like you get like double the base HP of this weapon as a Vital type. Nobody's ever going to build Vital, as opposed to like a Nagnarok or something. People used to make like Vital versions because it was the highest stats for both attack and magic or something. There was some argument for building like the different types for the Nagnarok sword, but there's no reason to build a Vital spine blade. Like, if you want magic for whatever insane reason, we have way more than enough options for like magic swords at this point. But it's really a no-brainer to go assault, honestly. And that's kind of disappointing, from like an itemization aspect, like I was talking about.
And then Locke, I know you actually maxed Dwayne. Like that was kind of your choice of the 3 newer units. So
Yep.
this was sort of touted as the like, along with Dwayne EX release, you get this awesome sword form. So have you been using it on him, or are you kind of meh?
I haven't started farming it yet, but I was actually thinking of buying it out for the 2000 Viz, and also get 63 recipes, because there might be reasons when I want to take like 2 of these guys and bring high defense penetration. But anyway, I was thinking about this question for a while about would I really put this on Dwayne, or would I be using a different weapon? And like there is no dark attack up plus slash attack. But if there was, I probably
Not yet.
yeah, maybe it's coming. I haven't looked too far in the future, but if it is coming, I'll probably go with that. But as it's not a choice, like I can probably use like Flame Tongue or something that gives you 15 slash attack. I mean, the fire attack doesn't really matter, right? But it still gives you 15 slash attack. Sorry, slash attack. So I've been using that on Dwayne. I don't know. I think most of the time I would probably prefer the Spine Blade, just because a lot of units have very high defenses these days. So that probably comes in handy, because I mean, a lot of people are running raids now, and the typical raid armor gives you like 18 to 20 defense. So that 20% defense penetration usually comes in handy, and you stack that with something like Golem or Death Machine, and you get an additional 15 defense that you want to crack, and it stacks with like Dwayne's other passives that increase defense penetration anyway. So I think it's pretty good. I'll probably go with that over these slash attack up type weapons.
I was just going to say, he actually doesn't have any passives that increase defense penetration. He has the one skill Atonement, which does, but you're not always going to have Dwayne have the chance to use Atonement. So like having that passive defense penetration is really important for him, I think.
What about his mastery? I thought his mastery gave a little bit,
Oh,
but that's not his passive.
check.
Did you get a second mastery yet?
Oh yeah, so he does have defense pen 20 from his mastery ability. Thank you.
Okay.
So yeah, it would pop that up to 40 if you're using the sword. And atonement I think is an extra 20 as well.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
It's usually nice to
60 with
stack on like one if you want to like penetrate defense or spirit or resistance, like stack it at one so you can definitely get through.
Yeah.
But sorry, you said something about not looking forward, so I'm like, oh, while they're chatting, I'm gonna see if there's a because the way you
Find one.
the way you had your like face, I didn't know if there was one, and I just saw something
I
releases
have
for
no
this week
idea.
in JP. It's not a dark sword, but oh my gosh, this Esper and this piece of gear, what the
Oh,
heck?
wow.
Oh man, it's like this Earth Deer, but like it's an Earth card. It gives Earth attack, Pierce attack, like missile resist, like all this crazy stuff. The VC is pretty sweet too.
Last time I was on your stream, I was I wished that you had like an emote that was like "Oh baby" or like
Oh,
because you say that so often. I was really hoping that you would be like "Oh baby" this time.
And then this
we need an emote like that.
And this chess piece, it's one of those where you get like a buff for like 3 turns at the beginning of the game, but it's 50% charm and berserk resist
Wow, for 3 turns.
for 3 turns. Yeah, it's only equipable by spear users though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw
think I
that.
saw
It was
that.
for like Oberon or something,
Yeah,
right?
but 20 defense, 569 health, and
Yeah.
15% HP pass. Like, what the?
Ooh.
Kane can wear it.
Power creep, man.
But, oh, man. So, I mean, it is specific jobs, though, right? Like, it's specialized for certain ones, but it's definitely still, yeah, it's definitely strong. Anyway, not to look too far ahead now, but any other thoughts on the Spine Blade overall, or, I mean, so I guess we can just move in. Not that we have to have a lot of thoughts about it, but just like things we've been doing recently, or if there's any you guys have discovered and want to share. Like one thing I'm going to share real quick. There's a long lost, I'll call it a long lost item that we had talked about probably when we were back in single digits of the podcast, that a lot of people had arguments about. It's a useless TMR, and it takes a lot to get it off, and there's almost always going to be a better decision to make than using this TMR, which is Eldira's TMR.
Oh man.
I should have had you guess it. Eldira's TMR. Now the problem with it is that it's range 2, so it's really short range. But then it also has what is it? What's the cast time on it? It's like 150.
Is it 200?
It's 200. So it's like casting a flare or a holy.
Yeah.
Right.
But someone asked me what TMR I use on Mish, because I've been using like Howlet or whatever else. He's like, have you ever thought of using Eldira's TMR on Mish? I'm like, why? I'm like, he's not tanky, so like he's not gonna survive the turn. Like he has the same problems everybody else has. I'm like, oh, cast time. so he instant casts Eldira's TMR and gives himself Quicken.
I swear we've had this
if we have, you might have had it with the same person. I don't know, but like, I never thought about that, and I'm pretty excited to like mess around with it because I think I have it maxed. It was one of the ones I had maxed back in the day because I thought I was gonna be the guy to break it. Actually, do you even have to max it? Now I'm looking at it. It's the cast time gets leveled up, right? The effect doesn't. But
what else are you gonna use?
That's pretty exciting. What's that?
Like what other TMRs have you been using on him?
Howlet TMR, or I have Sweetheart Solar's TMR now. So depending on which like sort of the meta and what I expect to face, so he gets that 1 turn of immunity, so I can Keenblade him from there. But obviously, yeah. And then they're asking me, "Oh, have you used with the Eldira?" I'm like, I kind of refuse to do the whole Keenblade with Eldira thing. Like, I just feel bad about it. But technically, I mean, if you put this on him along with Keenblade on like King Mont or something, you get the Eldira LB on Eldira, the CT average plus like whatever other thing. Because you CT average, everybody comes down to like not 100. And then you just do this for an instant quicken and then blast people. Like, that's insane. And then you could have Carbuncle Vision card on Eldira to further increase CT on target, to like really just like stack these sort of CT gains. You could do it on like Mont to throw him in there too. Like, there's all these crazy combinations if I just didn't want to not use Eldira.
So basically, this just in, folks. CT manipulation is broken alongside these crazy fast cast mages.
So does Mish have like a -800 cast time or something?
-750.
Yeah,
But he
it's
has
Okay.
the focus passive from Ranger to give it another 150, so it's 900.
Oh wow.
So
Damn.
all of his casts are instant. The
Mhm.
only time they're not is if somebody has 100 CT or higher. They'll take, because there's no clock ticks. They'll take the turn and then he'll cast. But if they're at
Okay.
99 or less, it's the first thing that happens. There's no avoiding any of it. Even if it's a flare or whatever with the 200 cast time, because he's got 900 cast speed. So I actually didn't use his magic up passive, so I could use Thief Lore and then focus, and that's how I was doing everything just like immediately, because there was no, there were a couple times where someone had 100 CT and it screwed me basically. But that's so rare that the one time he has a turn,
Yeah.
someone else also has a full CT bar. So
And it's just similar to, you know, how having like a double quicken team, you have to kind of finagle the quickeners so that their quickens don't resolve at the same tick or
Yep.
cycle or
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
I think that may be one of the only things also that kind of may land in that 900 to, or that 100 cast speed that he ends up having.
like
But it's so niche, like on niche.
also yeah, right. Also on this though, so say he starts his turn, he has 4 movement. Then you have an additional 2 range for this quicken. So let's just say a range of 6 from wherever he starts his turn. If you have
Height
him
of
on a
5.
double quicken team, what's that?
Height of 5, by the way. So
Yeah, it's
you're
height
definitely
5, so like, it
targeting.
doesn't matter where they are around you. Typically, I mean, maybe there's some map where there's some ridiculous wall, but like at that point, I'm transpositioning you on top of it and leaving you up there. But the you can go up and do this, and if you have double quicken on your team and they're not going in that very next tick, he can quicken himself, do things with an additional 4 movement and whatever his range is, Toad from 6 or AoE for 4+1, and then get 2 quickens. Like the stuff you could potentially do with this if you can actually approach it. But that's the key, right? Like if you can approach, like you have to be able to actually get him close. So I don't know if it's still going to be better to use the Howl TMR or whatever else I need to keep him alive, or even like maybe a re-raise, but it's pretty sweet, and I never even thought of it. So I'm pretty thankful. It was Lucky, if you guys know. We call him Lucky because like if you his name backwards is like PC Lucky or something, and supposedly it's not actually his name, but I don't know. He's like, oh, I didn't realize it spelled Lucky. I'm like, what the fuck? It's too perfect not to. I don't know if he was trolling me or something, but yeah. So shouts to him, putting me onto this because he's thinking about using Mish in next CM along with me. So
Quality
yeah,
stream content, man.
it's pretty nuts. I don't know if I'll be able to justify using Odira, but if I could use like Moshri or something with the Carbuncle VC to sort of add on to this manipulation team. Anyway, that's my cool thought for the week. Any thoughts you guys want to add about like farms recently, or what have you guys been up to in the game in these sort of slower weeks, or things you've discovered? Well, I didn't discover this, but you know, came across me my path.
I don't know how boring this is, but to me, it's weird how we've been having these events that last for like 2 weeks. For me, like I'm not really farming Spineblade so much this week because I'm still catching up on building like my seconds, Sword of Light or whatever from like the Warrior of Light events, or something else that I was like building until this past Wednesday or something. It's weird. Like I'm kind of playing catch up on like the second half of these 2 week long events, which is weird to me. Like normally it's like you got to build this while you can, you know. Um,
That's how I
so
always am. I'm like,
there's that.
it's for 2 weeks. I can do it the second week, and then that happens. It just compounds. I'm like, oh, now I gotta catch up.
Yeah,
On skip
no,
through this. And
exactly.
they might as well be 1 week because I just fucking procrastinate till the second week and everything. That's why raid sucks. I'm like, oh man, I have to do it now. I can't put this off and then like panic at the last second, which I still do anyway. And most of my raids are done on Monday and Tuesday before
Yikes.
updates. But
Well, yeah, it's priorities, right? Other than that, it's weird. Finally, I was talking about this in like my guild chat recently. Like, it's weird finally having like Warrior of Light and Freya, like these units that like maybe I know it's not just me, but like we're used to not having for so long. I picked them up. Like I didn't like I didn't try to gamble on Freya or Warrior of Light. They were just they showed up in my lap when I was rolling for other things, or for like the like the Warrior of Light / Death Machine like free pulls. I just ended up maxing Warrior of Light. Freya is still at like LB3 or close to LB4 or something like that. But those like maxing Freya for example, like that event I think is ending in the next couple days. I think it's like Tuesday or whatever. So for anyone still thinking about maxing I don't know, like Dwayne, Freya, and I think is yours Azan also included. That
Yeah,
stuff's ending soon, so
like global units.
maybe it's those things have been like these things have been happening for like at least a week now, so it's easy to like lose track, and like be like, oh shit, like I thought I could still buy Sasuke Katana +5 for like 2K Vizior. Um, like come Wednesday, that's not going to be around anymore, for instance. So
That happened to
yeah,
me a few
definitely
weeks ago.
keep track. No, it's like, and it's like, oh man, I should have done it when I had the chance. So that's that kind of affects, like, in some small way, like your PvP performance. You don't have like an optimized weapon or some shit. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind, I think.
I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I was gonna buy some like +5. I was like, all right, fine, I'll get it. But it was Wednesday, and I was like, oh, the shop wasn't 2 weeks along with the like unit that it came out with. I'm like,
I
no.
can't
Oh,
remember.
the Helena staff.
Oh,
I
okay,
was gonna buy
Cypress.
that. I didn't. I ended up, what I did was in the last hour, I forgot about the event, and there was 1 hour because it was an early maintenance, right? I
Mhm.
think. So I finished. I max starred both of the events. I was at a store actually, like shopping with my girlfriend, and I'm like, I'm gonna sit at this chair. You finish. It's a big place. Like, you want to look around? I'm like, I need a minute. So I sat down. I did the hard quest, did the brutal quest, got all the stars, whatever, by playing on manual, and I skip ticketed the shit out of it until I got a max staff. I don't know if I got enough for two, but I had a ton of like event skip tickets stockpiled from whatever we got them from recently. And I
Yeah.
was able to get it in literally an hour. I had done no farming, and then I just skip ticket, and got it. But like,
Yeah,
thank God I have like like all these energy pots stacked up right now.
yeah.
Yeah, that was one of those times I completely forgot. Like, after that went away, the next day I forgot. Or no, I'm sorry, it was up for 2 weeks, right? And the first week you could buy it, the second week you couldn't. That's what it was. And
Okay.
so I was like, oh, I gotta skip it. I can't buy it. Yeah, that
So
was. Yeah.
Sasuke's katana is important specifically because of just how terrible the drop rates were
Mm-hmm.
on like Rasalgethi and Sasuke katana. So that's important if you guys are building your Zazan or you want it for Katone. Katone's actually doing surprising damage. Like her LB is like one-shotting like squishier characters, and I'm so used to having it like I hadn't leveled it for like the longest time, and it does like dinky damage or whatever to like these tanks or whatever. But it's like especially with Zazan's like Earth attack up card, like you don't need to stop people if they're dead. And that's because she's using like a beefed up Sasuke katana.
She actually has 400
I think I
attack
still
now.
do.
Yeah, she's like.
I think I'm still using like 2+4s. I haven't even made like 1+5. So I'm really thinking about buying this +5 for 2K, just because in the long run it'll be easier.
Why don't you just buy
But
that
also
and then you buy
don't.
one recipe from the shop, you combine and get two?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
So, but please don't forget that this week is also. Well, there's only a couple days left in it, but this week is the story like double item drop and double JP, for like the story missions or whatever. It only comes around like once a month or so, and it's my favorite week of the month in terms of like the item drops and stuff like that. It's so useful in terms of at least just like replenishing your faint memory orbs, your blue, your purple, your yellow. Obviously, you don't have to worry about red because every Saturday you can do that. But like these lower ones, like you can't use tickets on them. You can use tickets on like Alcryst or statues or whatever. So it's important at least to use this week for at least those orbs. And like there's always new units coming out. I don't know how much you guys um, try to get like every unit or whatever, but for me it's really important. So, like I was so low, like I was out of like purple and yellow orbs. So like for me this is like, yes, thank you for getting me
definitely
back
low
up to like
on.
1,000 of each, until next
Yeah,
time.
low on my blues right now, I think. I've been like working on getting everybody's green jobs, and now I'm gonna like work on everybody's blue jobs. So
Yeah,
it's like
and
a
it,
while.
it sucks to be out and like to have a new units that you're really looking forward to using in PvP and like not being able to build them.
Yeah, every month I convert all those orbs to red stuff using the
Nice.
using the exchange. So, so during this week, I refarm and replenish them because I don't typically run those because they take so much. Because I get these yellow and purple and whatever orbs by doing random runs for resonance and other stuff anyway. And I would typically not do that in the red stage because that costs so much more energy. So
it's like 500 to get like one pink, right? Like 500 greens or something stupid.
So well, okay, like
typically 5. So it's like 5 to convert from yellow to there, then 5 to go from purple to yellow, then 5 to go from blue to like.
Well, it's 5 times 5 times 5 times yellow and change the yellow to red.
Oh man, oh that hurts me. Dude, the reds are so easy and well, they're not free, but they're so easy. You just skip ticket them. Just get like I think I did one day where it was I skip ticketed. They're like one full like energy, like 900 energy or whatever, and I had enough to like max out a unit. They're to go from 12 to 15. Like it's not that bad. Yeah, I mean you have to get a little lucky to do it that efficiently, but it's oh man.
But I'm already doing yellows anyway. Like yeah. I'm already doing these for resonance anyway. So I mean, like
yeah,
I think I had like a ton of those spheres. I had like 9,000 of them or something, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do with that, right? So
what are you going to do with them? Use your units. Do you know how many yellow orbs I need right now? Like so many of my units are on like they've done all up to purple, and like all these units I've had at like 99, like these MRs and SRs and like cool sort of interesting units I might use in the future, but they're stuck on those yellows, and I never have enough of them.
I was gonna say,
I heard
like I'm closer and closer to the dream of having like all my units like maxed out, not just in like level, but also like jobs and stuff. There's only I don't know. I only have so much more left, and I'm getting closer. And I've been working on this for months and months. Like I'm always attentive to like this 1 week a month. It's like yay, double drops. Give me those orbs.
This year first, Daniel enjoys farming Faint Memories more than class match week.
Oh jeez. But yeah, so I don't. Luck, did you have anything else to say about that? Because
no, that's it.
Okay. So speaking of class match week, do you mind jumping into what we're expecting? Okay, cool. Nice. Thumbs up. Go ahead. So next week, I'm expecting the Carbuncle raid to drop to hit us. So we'll see. Tonight is like news night for content creators / streamers or whatever. I'm wondering if we're gonna get the Carbuncle raid. I would love to get to the Santa Flan raid instead, but we don't know when that's gonna happen. It's like the Christmas event or whatever. But
Christmas in July.
Yeah. Right? That would be very, very cool. But like in terms of like global getting it, like who knows? So maybe let's always have that on our plate, like in the corner, like I don't know, like the stuffing corner or whatever. But I'm expecting class match to be the 3rd week of this month, so I'm expecting us to see like a raid or maybe even a trials with more, looking like more, and I don't know. Another, I don't know, yours Azan or something. So either raid or trials next week, and I'm expecting the next class match 10 to be the week after. So we'll see.
Yeah. But if no one has anything else, I think that wraps us up for this week. We definitely made up some time this week, going almost at an hour and a half again. So welcome back to our long casts. I know we've had a couple short ones. They're nice every now and then, but I do like these sort of longer deep dives.
Yeah.
Like this is only 3 things. It was like more Coral in the Spine Blade.
So much to say. Sometimes.
So much more to say. All right, that's the last time I'll say it.
Hey, you did it.
Anyway, yes. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week with like Daniel was saying, maybe some raid talk, or hopefully not CM. I would like another week break from that, but
it'd be weird.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I've been Zach Bro.
And
I've been Locke.
And we will see you that next time.